Let's link up with Krysta on the FYX. She's a wellness coach with a focus on mental well-being and physical strength.
Guys, it is Coach Krysta, and I am back on our latest episode of The FYX. Let's link up today with my friend, Miss Meghan Trainor, not to be confused with the singer. I feel like I had to get that out of the way because I know you get that a lot. She's a fitness coach. And I'm having her on our show today because she is just going to brag about you for a sec, made an amazing and really built an amazing community out of COVID with her online programming and coaching. She has a really cool platform that I will 100% give her the floor to talk about because I can't do it justice. But I'm super excited to have her on the show today to tell you guys all about how she's built this. And I think a lot of it was kind of by accident and just wanted to see where it went, and balances that with a full-time job. So as everybody knows, I'm a huge coffee drinker, and Meghan's full-time job happens to be 100% coffee related. So I think we should start with that.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. So happy to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Krysta. This
You're
is fun.
so welcome. And as I mentioned pre-show, I asked two questions at the very, very beginning all the time. And I know coffee's going to come up in both for you.
Perfect.
So first, tell us, who the heck is Meghan? Why should we care about you? That's usually how I pitch it to people. And not going to time you, but if you only had 45 seconds, what would your elevator pitch be to tell us about who you are?
Well, I appreciate that you gave me a little heads up on this one so that I could jot down a few things.
There we
I
go.
did put down, I think it will be less than 45
Perfect.
seconds.
We got the clock running over here.
Perfect. Who is Meghan Trainor? Well, so glad you asked. Meghan Trainor, former professional golfer.
Oh, I didn't sneak that in there. Good.
Born certified trainer. See what I did there?
I love
Fitness coach and a lover of all things sequins and sparkles. I am the proud owner of 17 wigs and an additional storage unit for all of my costumes. Curator of the Body by Trainer experience and the one and only Clam community. I am inspired to inspire through daily movement, including and encouraged spontaneous freestyle dancing, and of course, motivational messages.
Love it. That's awesome. That's the best one I've had yet. So kudos to you. The next episode's going to have a high brow to follow, but I love it. And I appreciate that you included some color around your personality. As I do on all of my shows, we'll link all of your social media accounts and everything and your website in the show notes. But if you guys are listening to this and you're near your phone or computer, you should jump on Instagram and check her out. Her handle's very simple. There's no punctuation in it, right?
Nope. But
Super
OR
easy.
at the end
Just
for trainer.
Body by Trainer, but note that it is not spelled ER, it's OR.
Correct.
Good distinction, but I'll link all of it.
Yeah.
But you guys should go check her out. I just looked at the heart health awareness one that you did, and that was a great outfit.
Oh, that
what
was
inspired
fun.
that? Do you just go into your closet and see what you have?
Well, I was a dancer my whole life growing up. So pre-golf, lifestyle, I was a dancer. So started at 2, ballet, tap, jazz, the whole
I did
thing.
the same thing.
So,
You collect all the costumes in the trunk.
Well, and it's like a part of me, being an entertainer, being on stage and helping people to have fun and, step into something outside their daily life. And so by entertaining on my Instagram page, I feel that 50 minutes that we spend together can carry that attitude throughout your day. So I love my Fireball Fridays. If you're listening, you probably Clam, the Fireball Fridays, we do all sorts of costumes. And then the heart health awareness that we did previously, Red. So we did it through the Go Red for Women.
Nice.
So I don't know. It was very easy to find red costume because of Fireball Friday inspired outfits, but anything I can do to just make the workout experience more enjoyable, because as you know, if you love the workout, if you enjoy going, you will be consistent.
Totally.
And guess what? Consistency shows results. If you do something once, you're really not going to see the results. You've got to stick with it. So I hope that people enjoy to come back, either A, to see what the heck I'm wearing, what music I'm playing, or, I've written a new workout every single day since I started doing this on March 17th, except for Sundays.
That's
you get
amazing.
1 day off. So,
and you guys should check out how unique a lot of your movements are, because I feel like if I need some inspo for a new move, you're amazing at combining different body parts in a way that I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember it was like maybe 2 weeks ago you posted something and I commented. It was almost like a fire hydrant, but I think you had added in like, not like a bicep curl, but pretty similar. It was more of like you were pulling your elbow in towards your rib cage while also hitting the fire hydrant at the same time.
Right.
It takes a lot of coordination, but it's a good way to just keep it interesting and confuse the muscles and do something a little bit different with a little flavor every time.
Oh yeah, gotta have spice. So the CLAM actually stands for Community, Laughter, Accountability, Movement, and Sass.
I think we got all that covered.
You know,
but that's sassy.
Oh yeah, and you know, there's a play on words with the clam too, but
I was gonna ask you about
spread
that
the clam,
one.
close the clam, you know, all the things. But I think to your point about the creativity, it's former athlete in me, and I love functional training. Like, don't
especially
just do
as a golfer.
Absolutely, don't just do a burpee to do a burpee to get your heart rate up. Do it because you're strengthening a certain muscle group. So all of my movements, whether they be multi-compound, which I personally love the most, you get the most bang for your buck, and you're kind of confusing the muscles and the mind, will always be effective for a reason. So you're going to do that bent over row because you know why. And as a clam, I talk a lot about form and the importance of form. And being a virtual trainer can be very challenging, as you know.
Hard. You can even see, you do most of your stuff on Instagram Live.
Yes.
You can't even see the people that are working out with you.
Right. So I'm just like, I'm always talking about the key factors and things you should think about. Where is your core, your stomach? You know, how are you holding your back? Things like that. So I can do the best that I can to help anybody that's out there that might be especially new to fitness.
Sure. So.
And
I think with the pandemic, for as much as it kind of threw people for a loop, and you know, we were talking about our typical fitness routine last year, and it kind of got us like out of that zone and in like a little funk. I do think it's really made fitness very accessible for people who may have otherwise not felt comfortable because they were self-conscious to go into a studio, or they didn't have time. Like I do have a lot of clientele who are moms, and I know we share this in common, and they've told me that one of the plus sides to not being able to go to the gym the way they used to and now having online options is if they only have 20 minutes, it's not this whole production of getting their kids in the car, putting on their workout clothes, and like maybe the kid is napping and they want to like empty the dishwasher, do some laundry. And then it's like, oh, I still have 25-30. They're more inclined now to sneak something in because it doesn't take as much effort and coordination, which I think is fantastic. Like I started hearing that from a couple people I work with right around Christmas. So we were already like 7 months into this situation. And that made me really happy. Because I felt like there was so much emphasis on like, quarantine weight. Like,
well, the accessibility of online workouts is huge now. I mean, you go anywhere on Instagram and you can find something. So it's really all about connecting with that trainer and finding a community either within that platform that they have or connecting with the trainer. And like you said, there's never been a chance where you could literally put your sneakers on and go get your workout in and be done with it within, 30 minutes. So it's also something I talk about as like toss the tank is one of my things.
I like
because
that.
You're at your home. If you can't work out in your sports bra, how are you ever going to feel confident to get in a bathing suit and walk from, the pool bar to the bathroom without feeling self-conscious? So I really try to promote within these workouts, like you're in the comfort of your home. Allow yourself to feel that comfort and then just feel that feeling so that you can call on it later in life when you're nervous or when you're self-conscious or you feel insecure. You can take those moments that you learned and carry it with you throughout the day. So I always talk about the BBT experience as a 50-minute workout, but it's more of a mood and a vibe and an attitude that you carry with you far beyond those 50 minutes.
I love it. Love it.
It's fun.
So before we dive more into the fitness component, because I do have lots of questions about so many of the things that you shared, and I do want to talk about your experience as a golfer and how that kind of got you to where you are today. Let's jump around a little bit because you still have your 9-to-5 day job that I'm sure is more than 9 to 5. But for those of you who are not watching on our video, we actually have a little product right here.
Always.
And Meghan hooked me up with some new flavors. So I'm very excited.
Yes.
So tell us about your let's go resume route of what is your career experience been with La Colombe? How long have you worked there? I hope I'm saying it correctly.
You are.
I'm
proud of you.
I got it. If people don't know what La Colombe is, because I forgot to tell you this, but I listened to Guy Raz's How I Built This on them.
Todd and JP.
Yeah, so I feel like an expert.
Absolutely.
I know a lot about their company. We could do like a separate podcast
for
on
sure.
that. But I would love to know about your personal experience with the brand. And we're going to open our drinks.
Should we do that now?
Yeah.
Let's do it now.
Ready?
So this is the draft latte. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that was a good sound.
Here,
I like
cheers
it.
to you, girl.
Cheers.
Hold on, let me take a sip.
Perfect.
I'm having the double shot draft latte. Krista is having the peppermint mocha because it's still season.
Oh, it's so good.
And I did bring her our newest hazelnut, which hasn't even hit the streets yet. So
exclusive.
I know. So rewind 4 years. The La Colombe draft latte, which we just opened, wasn't even on the market yet.
Yeah.
So I accepted a job with La Colombe.
Okay.
Very excited about it.
So was this when sorry to interrupt your story, but to give people some context, just real quick, explain how, or I can kind of give a 30-second overview. La Colombe did start as a coffee shop, but this concept existed. It's just that most people that they tried to pitch it to thought it was never going to work. Correct?
Kind of. Well, La Colombe's 26 years old. So we've been roasting coffee for high-end hotels and restaurants.
But this, the actual can.
Yeah, the can.
Most people were like, this isn't going to be a thing.
Well, I don't know that they would say that. I just think that the concept has never been thought of.
Yeah,
Todd
it didn't exist.
Carmichael,
and he was bent on it.
Yeah.
From what I listened to from the whole episode.
Well, sure.
I heard.
He says it, of course, the best.
Right.
But to reiterate some things that he always talks about is that it's an idea and a concept that disrupted the entire market. There's not a ready-to-drink coffee beverage that's ever going to compete with La Colombe.
Right. Especially because for people who don't know anything about it, the milk is already in here. So it is a latte. It tastes like a latte. It has the foam. It's not like going to the grocery store and buying a can of cold brew. It doesn't even compare.
No, we have a 20-year patent on the technology that creates the froth and the foam.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it's the InnoValve is what Todd created that releases nitrous oxide into the can, which turns from a vapor to a froth. So it is a true latte.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's lactose free. It's low calorie. It's got 5 grams of protein in each can, so it's very on Body by Trainor brand because it's healthy, and it supports your coffee lover, but who also wants to keep their health in check.
Yeah, because normally I would never pick something up like this at the store because I don't even have to read the nutrition facts to make the assumption that it's going to be how much sugar and 50 grams of carbs. Yeah, I would rather have a bagel at that rate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, there's nothing like it, and that's what's cool about being a part of it. I eat, sleep, breathe La Colombe on my own just because I love the brand. I love what they stand for. The people that have put this brand together are truly one of a kind, and I am honored and so grateful to be even a little bit part of this story that we've shared. So I was actually the first salesperson they hired as far as the La Colombe draft latte.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah. So shout out to Kyle O'Brien for giving me that opportunity. He's a good friend of mine, but he's also the executive vice president of sales for La Colombe. He lives in Charlotte. And so I actually reached out to him one day to talk to him about wellness programs.
Okay.
And
what were you doing previous to this? Where does this fall in line with your professional golf career?
Yeah. So after golf, I went into sales for a women's apparel line.
Oh, okay.
Did that for about 3 years, but unfortunately they had to file for Chapter 11, and so things changed, and I was in this limbo. What am I going to do? I don't want to just do something to do something.
You wanted to be passionate about the product.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I was a personal trainer pre golf. So in the interim time, I went back to training, and I wanted to help people. I've always been wanting to help people discover a way to live a healthy lifestyle without dreading it. So I reached out to Kyle, and he basically was like, "That's awesome." And my nickname is Peg. So he's like, "Peg, that's awesome. And I know you'd be great at it, but I have a really cool opportunity. It's La Colombe. It's draft latte. It's a beautiful can, and there's nothing like it." And I was like, okay, that sounds cool. I love coffee. And my first job, I was a barista at a coffee shop in Atlanta called Second Cup. It's not there anymore. Oh, so good. But so I said, opportunity coffee. Hell yeah, let's do it. And, fast forward 4 years, and we've grown from a, never could find the product to you can literally find this giraffe latte everywhere you go.
I mean, to me, the fact that it's in Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
like Trader Joe's doesn't carry a lot of outside brands.
Right.
So I'm curious from your perspective, what has been the coolest part about the experience of you knowing what it took for it to get on that shelf and then being able to walk into a grocery store like that and seeing it there?
Yeah. When I started with La Colombe, I used to have to send samples to the hotel where I was traveling because I couldn't get it anywhere.
Yeah.
So now to know like that I can get it at Trader Joe's and every single place that, carries a cold beverage, is probably just the most unique feeling to be a part of something like that. And to actually know that I got this can onto the campus of UMass,
Sure.
which is the #1 food service school in the country.
I did know that actually.
Yeah, it's
I
kind
have friends
of
that
cool.
went there. Yeah.
And, my alma mater, go Elon, Phoenix, they carry it in 3 different areas
That's
on
so cool.
campus. So to actually have a footprint and to be able to say that there's something I did that helped this already awesome brand grow feels pretty cool.
And how do you think being in sales, I'm sure you've thought about this before, but I love to talk to people who have that mindset when it then transfers over to fitness.
Yeah.
How do you think, I think you've kind of had it both ways. Like you had the fitness experience and then transitioned into sales and now you've like done it again, but
Right.
the opposite direction.
Right.
So what do you think aligns about requirements of your personality, your tactics, how you carry yourself in your personal and business relationships between what on paper may look like 2 very different industries, but I think for someone like yourself who's been totally ingrained in both has a lot of similarities.
Yeah. I think the main word is connection. And in sales, I think if you can connect with your audience, you can sell them anything.
So true.
And in fitness, I'm connecting every single day with the clams and the community that are out there working out with me that makes them want to come back for more. So it intertwines itself very easily, actually, just because like what I'm doing is something I believe in. I believe in La Colombe. I believe in its product. I believe in fitness and Body by Trainor and the product. So having that connection with the following and the audience is what makes it so easy to do when you believe in the product. I mean, I don't sell La Colombe. I tell people about how great it is.
Right. It's
I give them a try
experience.
and then they eat it, drink it.
Yeah.
They can eat it too.
You might as well eat it. It's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a main food group. I consider coffee a main food group.
No,
right?
we're for sure. But I think my mom's always told me, you'd be great in sales. You'd be great in sales. And in my mind growing up, I thought sales was like the cold calling.
Right.
The like, no, you should buy this. You should buy this.
Right.
And that is so not my personality. I believe in building a friendship, building a connection. And then let me tell you what I like. And because you and I have already created that, you're going to be more inclined to try it. And like, we talked about it, but word of mouth is the best way to promote a brand because people believe in what others will say versus an ad that they see out.
So true.
In a magazine or something. So just to have this community that really believes in what I stand for has helped it grow tremendously and organically day to day.
So true. And too, there's such an authenticity to that because like you said, you believe in the product. That comes with showing up and being your truest self. And I think the comments that we were jokingly making about the sequins and the wigs, that's you really show up as who you are on social media in real life. And I've always gotten that impression from you. And today is the first time we've met in person.
Yeah.
And I expected you to be exactly the same. Like I had no doubt that you were going to be like different in any way.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. And I think that's really, it's hard to find people like that because you don't know. And I'm curious, before we talk about what you have built in the past almost year, which is crazy to think about. Right? It's been that much time. Do you ever get met with people whether that's in person, maybe not so much these days, who have given you, let's say, unsolicited feedback that they don't like your vibe or what you're doing, or they don't understand it? Especially because, I think there's still a connotation, and hopefully things like COVID have changed this in companies like Peloton and SoulCycle that have really created a professional environment around fitness. Who like don't really take seriously what you do, or they don't like the way you deliver it because for whatever reason, your personality is not for them.
Yeah, I think I'm knock on wood, honestly. The feedback I've received has been life changing for me.
That's awesome.
I've saved all of the nice messages in my phone so that I can look back at them when I'm old and be like, oh my God, how impactful, how beautiful. So I'm very fortunate that I think if you are tuning in to my channel, if you're tuning in or signing up for a challenge, your goal is to find happiness in your life, to see joy in costumes or music or movements that make you feel uncomfortable. So I haven't had anybody that has, I haven't really had any haters, I guess I should say, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I just think that my vibe gives off that I don't have actual haters in my life because I don't allow them.
Yeah, you wouldn't like, it's like you don't care. And like so many people can say like, I don't care about what other people think. I actually did a whole podcast with a friend about separating yourself from your ego, and you may operate from a place where on the surface you act like you don't care what other people think, but deep down your subconscious is like constantly being driven by like, what are people going to think of me? And I totally get that energy from you. Like you truly do not care.
Well, it's funny because if you ask my close friends, I'm a very sensitive person.
Really?
Like I am. I have a backbone, but I do. I'm a people pleaser, and I think that can be a good and bad thing.
Totally.
So what I have learned over time and as I get older is to really understand that when people are being rude or mean to you, it is not about you. It is about them. And that's a hard concept to understand when you're young, because you're like, oh, they're so mean. It must be like, what's wrong with me?
And as a woman, you face that like literally like at 12 in like middle school.
Yeah.
And then it never goes away.
No, I know. So just understanding, I always talk with people about like, before you get mad at someone, really understand where your emotions are coming from. Why are you actually mad at them? It's probably not something they did. It's probably an internal fight that you're going through, something that, triggered you from a past experience or something. So understand, now we're getting into like therapy session here, but understanding your emotions before you react is a beautiful thing. So when I know the time is going to happen when somebody's like, okay, you should just work out and not wear wigs, something like that. Who knows? But when that time comes, I have the understanding of this is not about me, and it's okay. Right. And life goes on because, you're not everybody's cup of tea.
No, and you don't have to be.
No, and that's
you don't
totally
have to
fine.
be successful. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the more you're talked about, the better. So bring it on.
Right.
Let's go.
I was just having this conversation with a friend yesterday. We were talking about the Super Bowl and about how essentially, I didn't realize this, and maybe you know this because I know you're big into the celebs who are dancers, like J-Lo's your girl. God. Most of those performers pay their own money to produce that show. And it's essentially the equivalent of purchasing an ad spot, but instead of them getting 30 seconds, they're getting 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been talking about The Weeknd.
Yes.
And apparently, I don't want to be quoted on this, but like I think he put in like $8 million of his own money,
right? Like
substantial amount. And I'm sure other performers have done the same. Justin Timberlake, sure he did that and whatever. And, there's been some comments about like what he did and like the masks that he had and his commentary on what that stood for. And it was definitely very thought out. And of course the memes, like I did one yesterday of him that I was like one of his like distorted faces. I did a meme that was like the face my scale sees when I step on it after my Super Bowl snacks. And I made a joke, but I have to say I was like semi frustrated because my own face wasn't in the post. And I looked at the analytics. It was DM'd to other people 40 times. I'm like, fuck, I can't even get my own face on like a post I had about some other message to be shared that much. But I was like super detailed in my caption. And I got a lot of good feedback being like, hey, thank you so much for this reminder. Yeah. But point is, I'm sure he wasn't necessarily thinking at the time that would be used for a meme. Yeah. But guess what? Publicity is still publicity. Oh, yeah. So he if he's smart, he doesn't care.
Well, I think when you get to that level, you just have to let it all go. Yeah. You have to just, think about it, all the like the Kardashian levels of the world.
So
true. They can't even see everything that is said about them. So there has to just come a point, and with the fact that my community is continuing to grow, and I'm so grateful that I have the exposure that I have and a platform to share it with, I know that that's going to happen eventually. And what's cool about it is that, hey, as people are talking about it, and maybe that will open their mind. Maybe initially they're turned off by it. Maybe they're like, oh, I just need like a strict set workout. And then I always say, just give me 5 minutes. Come to my workout, 5 minutes. Let me change your mood, and I will do it. I'm confident.
Yeah, I've watched you before, because you know how when the IGTV live pops up and you accidentally click shit. I do that all the time because I'll be doing something else on Instagram and I'm not in a place to exercise at the moment, so I can't join your workout. Right. But I'll watch it for 2 minutes and I start cracking up. It just makes me happy. Smile.
Thanks. I love when people tell me that they're like, I'm sitting in the doctor's office right now and I'm watching because I just want entertainment. And some people are like, I don't even have the sound on, but just watching you makes me smile. And so that feeling is so cool. It just makes me feel so lucky, so incredibly lucky, because I mean, for the past, I would say probably 12 years of my life, since fitness has really been huge. It's always been big because of dance and golf and everything, but since it really changed my life, I did a few fitness competitions in the past, but when I really took it seriously, I loved how it changed my mind and how it changed my lifestyle. And I prayed so much, please give me an opportunity or a way that I can help others experience this feeling, because it's changed my life. And so for me to have an opportunity to be even a little bit of a part of that for someone is a blessing beyond measure. And it's a answered prayer.
And how has that changed for you, having gone from a very traditional personal training type route? Because you didn't do group fitness before this, right?
No, I did.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was my jam.
Okay. I figured, because you have that personality. But when you mentioned before La Colombe you were training, I just assumed it was one-on-one.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny, I'm curious, because I have a strong feeling about this. I always tell people, I don't love personal training. It doesn't get me excited because I like the performance aspect that I know has to be delivered to make an okay, a solidly programmed workout.
Yep.
A really good one is the way the coach delivers it to the room and how everyone vibes off of it.
Oh yeah.
So tell me, are you one of those people who's I'm all for group fitness and I don't really jive with the one-on-one, or maybe you like both? Yeah. I kind of have a guess as to what you're going to answer, but I'm curious.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, I love group fitness. Yeah. It was my jam. I used to work at Charlotte Athletic Club uptown, and this is a humble brag, but I took the class from 5 people to 50 people.
That's amazing.
As most as they could fit in that basketball court. And it was just because of, word of mouth and things like that, but it was the structure that I put was effective but fun. And I think that's what BBT is. It's effective and fun, and it makes you want to come back for more. So to your point, the one-on-one training, for me, it was tough because a lot of times you become their therapist, or not just their trainer. So I'm listen, I got out of bed 4 a.m. for you. I'm going to kick your ass.
Exactly.
And I need you to work hard. I thought about this workout. I'm a very thought out trainer. Right. I don't show up and just go, oh God, what am I going to do?
And I don't think people understand, because we were talking about price points before we hit record, that when I charge for personal training, it's a high mark, because it took me, if I'm having a good day and my juices are flowing, I could write a workout in 10 minutes. Yeah. But if I'm thinking about 17 other projects, sometimes it takes me an hour to put something together. And it's frustrating, because I'm does this mean I'm not a good trainer? And it's not that, but it's just you hit a roadblock. Yeah. And I mean, you've now written a new workout every day for a year. So I want to know how you feel about that. Yeah. But then to go and deliver that workout, and the person thinks oh, I'm going to throw out the numbers because I don't care. Yeah. But oh, I'm only going to pay you $60 for that 45 minutes. Actually, it's the hour I spent programming. If I drove to you, in person, that could be anywhere from 20 to whatever amount of time plus gas. Yeah. And then the time I have to drive home. Right. So you think you're paying me $60 for your time that you see me face to face for the session? I'm looking at that as 2 hours. Yeah. So absolutely. Really, I'm hey, if you can't mess with over 100, you're not the right clientele. Yeah. And you have to be confident in your prices, because that's you literally putting value on your time.
Yeah. Well, and I think the two things things that were hardest for me about being a personal trainer was that it was always on someone else's schedule.
I know.
Which is like, if I'm going to get up at 4 a.m., I want it to be for my workout.
Right. And you can't guarantee that they're going to be as excited about it as you.
And the second piece of that is that they're not going to push as hard as I would.
If you were there by yourself doing your own thing.
Yeah. And as a former athlete, my mindset is competitive. Go, go, go. If I'm going to lace up those sneaks, put on my sports bra, I am working my ass off because that's my time. My time is precious. And I always tell people that if you spend 50 minutes a day with me, I do not take that for granted. That's why each workout is thought out. I don't half-ass anything from the workout to the music to the lighting to everything. It is important to me that you have an experience that changes your day. And so those two things with personal training were just like, it was really tough for me. So to have an audience where I can reach a massive amount of humans in my hour is a gift beyond gifts.
Yeah. And I think there's two camps because I know we're 100% on the same page and I completely align with what you just said. But I think like second to that is then there's people who have the argument, and I will point it out because I do think it's valid. Some trainers really prefer the personal training environment because they are such a stickler for form. And they feel like that if they're trying to deliver a workout with 20 people, they don't have the opportunity to correct and prevent injury. And I think that's valid. And I acknowledge that, which is why I'm saying it out loud. But I think there's ways you mitigate that by not trying to get too complicated with your programming. You spice it up by layering in compound movements to where someone may know a bicep curl on its own. Then you add some sort of movement that challenges their balance with a lunge.
Yep.
They can put those two things together.
For sure.
So what has that been like for you when you're thinking about your programming? Walk me through your process of how you package these workouts, knowing that you can't see the people most of the time unless, do you have people log on to Zoom and then you also do IG Live, or is it just IG Live?
So if you're in the 30-day challenge, once a month, we will do a Zoom. Okay. And I have one coming up that we're going to do Zoom workout. So sometimes we just do mimosas and Zoom, which is fun. That's very on my brand as well.
What? Yeah. I love it.
No, but I think to your point is when I'm structuring the workout, I think of modifications as well. So if there is a burpee in there, I will always show a modification. I show modification. My mom does the workouts. My mom's 68 and fabulous.
I've seen her. She's in great shape.
Yeah. But she has, her own issues with her back and things like that.
It's part of life.
So I always am trying to think of, how would my mom do this right now? She's a badass beast, but she has limitations and she has orthopedic issues. So I'm always trying to think if, especially if you're new to fitness, I like to think that the workouts are structured for all fitness levels.
Still accessible.
But I understand that sometimes some of the things I do are a little bit challenging because that's just my mindset. So I'll always say here's a modification, and also don't ever feel bad about taking a modification.
100%.
You are an awesome human for being here in this moment. Be proud of yourself for that feeling. And some days, guess what? Even I need to take modifications.
And I think that's really important in what's happened with the gym environment in the last 12 months, because I have a lot of clients who have had to get away from strength training, and now they do have the opportunity to get back in it. And two things are happening. They'll text me after their workout and they're like, I'm so sore and I don't understand because last year I could crush this workout and now I suck. And I'm like, first of all, you don't suck.
Yeah.
Or they need to go to a later weight and they feel really bad about that.
Right.
And I've said to them, I'm like, I can't do as many push-ups on my toes as I could 10 months ago.
Yeah.
And I have gained X amount of weight and it's fine. It's okay. As long as I'm still getting back and making the time to work out and still taking that time to get the 45 minutes, the hour, even 20, if that's all I can grab, it's going to get me back to where I was before. Yeah. Will it take a little longer? Maybe. Right. But you can't be hard on yourself when you don't even have access to dumbbells because they're like a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Well, and I think so many fitness trainers say it, but it is so true that just even the littlest steps will add up and make big results happen. So getting that 20 minutes in, going for a walk, parking farther away from the grocery store, not having that one snack that might be holding you back.
Everyone underestimates NEAT.
Yeah.
With steps.
Oh my gosh.
People don't realize that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got the Apple Watch for Christmas. Shout out to my brother and sister-in-law for getting me that. I never thought I would be into it, but because of a competitive human now, I'm like, oh my God, my move goal.
You got to hit it.
I got to hit it. And then, but on the other end of that, flip side is I also am very much forgiving and graceful of myself when I don't hit the numbers.
Yeah, and when you might miss a workout because something comes up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't miss a workout.
You can't
because
now.
Then everybody
you
else
personally
will miss one.
can't. Yes. Yeah. So that's been great accountability for you.
Oh yeah, no kidding. And people do ask, we talked about this before, but people do ask, like, what else do you do with your workouts? And honestly, I wear my heart rate monitor during these workouts, and if I challenge someone to try to teach this class
and talk. It's so hard. Wait, we have to talk about this. So I got my start in group fitness in college doing, you'll like this, piloxing. Have you ever heard of it?
Is that like Pilates boxing?
Yes, it is. Professional dancer, Russian ballerina, Vivica Jensen. She used to be a celebrity trainer. I don't know where she is now. I should Google her after this. She came up with the concept. It was more ballet than Pilates, I would say. And the boxing piece was very simple, like jabs.
Basic.
And,
yeah.
And we wore hand weights. I still have them all.
God,
I should do something with
class.
them. It's great. And I'm bringing it up now because I had to do it's required for their certification and the way they expect you to teach the class. It's a type of class that you could find in a box gym. So they don't have studios. It's just if you were going to go to Crunch or Lifetime or one of those places, it would be featured. Yeah. And I did it in through Campus Rec. I went to Washington and Lee in Virginia, and I taught the entire class while completing the workout. Yeah. I have probably never had better cardiovascular strength than at that point of my life.
Absolutely. No, you got to keep your vibe high. Yeah. You got to keep the energy going.
And I didn't even wear a mic. You don't.
Oh, no. You got to shout.
Yep.
I did a workout live in Charlotte, a boot camp, which I'm going to start doing, kind of traveling, take BBT on the road a little bit. So I've got one coming up in March in Delray Beach, Florida. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
Yeah.
But
advertise it for us.
Yeah, for sure. But one of the things when I had it, I had a microphone in the beginning of the workout, and I had 75 people that came. And this was outside in a parking garage, COVID friendly. Yeah. And everybody was 6 feet apart. And the microphone died halfway through. So the second half, I was just yelling, and I had the worst headache for the rest of the day. But my point being is, each time I press live on Instagram,
it's literally live.
Yeah, it's a vibe check for me. It's like, hey, Peg, this is an opportunity for you to maybe change someone's day. And so that is where I get the energy from. And that's where I'm like, you know what? Not enough coffee in the world could give me the boost that knowing that will do for me. So, anyway, I challenge people, try to teach a 50-minute class when you're yelling and counting and let's go. And if you watch my workouts, I'm always talking. Yeah. I'm trying to say go Krysta, come on, girl. Get.
I'm the same way. I hate that silence. And I think it comes with reps of coaching more. Because I have spent a lot of time mentoring other coaches through my experience with Burn. And it in the beginning can be a nervous thing. However, that's in person. Yeah. And so I think for me, I always talked a lot because I wanted to make the connection of, hey, I know your name and I'm going to say your name a million times. And I'm just a super, like yourself, I'm a big vibes person and I love the preaching motivation, the soapbox shit. I live for that. Same. And I know that's not some people's jam. If that's not for you, PSA, don't come check us out. It's fine. There's a trainer out there for you. It's totally cool. Absolutely. But I developed a personality around that people know that that's what they can expect when they come to my workout. And once that started becoming a thing, I wanted to maintain it. Yeah. I'm curious, do you feel that because you can't see what people are doing and because it's just you in the room by yourself, it's very different to train for a camera than it is to train for a group of people. You can get the feedback on their faces. Yeah. You can tell if someone likes your workout. So do you feel like you talk more because you're doing a lot extra to explain the movement and the modifications, even though they can see you? Right. Or do you think it's just, the way you're responding to basically training yourself and then watching it? Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think because it's on Instagram, people can comment. So that helps you. I think that when people are saying things, we got this clams, or I love this exercise. This combination is awesome. It's positive feedback that I actually appreciate. Sure. Yeah. And so when I have that feedback, I do feel like the energy is there and it's a big vibe. I will say I do have a website that has the work, which, you'll put in your notes. Yep. But on those workouts, I can't see what people are saying. So it's literally just me and the screen. And I can see that there's 200 people out there doing it. Okay. But I can't see anything. And it is definitely
a different feeling. You know, I'm shouting out names because I know that
you can see it running.
I
'cause
know
they're
Krysta
there.
is out there.
Sure.
And I'm like, Krysta, get going. And it's so funny the amount of people who tell me that I have said
It's
their
like you
name.
have a sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I was about to quit, and then you were like, go Hannah. And it's like, oh shit, can she see me? Like what?
Yeah.
So
is there a camera in my house?
Yeah. So I teach the class as if I can see you.
Yeah. I think
Like
that's really
drop
important.
it lower, Mary, you know, and some of these clams will post recaps on their Instagram. So I can kind of like, I know what they're like, one of my
Where
OG
they might have been
clams-
struggling in the workout.
Yeah. Or,
To need that push.
right. Or
Yeah.
Taryn, she's an OG clam. Shout out to her. She does recaps every single day, and it's for
Nice.
her accountability, you
Yeah.
know, but, she does it in this one area. So I'll be like, you know, you need to fix your pillows, Taryn, or something, you know, say things that make
Yeah.
it seem like I'm there.
That's so
And
funny.
Little tidbits like that, I think.
It really adds a personal touch that the person feels
Yeah.
accountable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think too, you know, I'm curious what your perspective is on things like Peloton, because for as great as, and I applaud the concept, I think it's fantastic. I wish I thought of that idea. However, I believe that it's going to have like a cap because they can only go so far in keeping you accountable, because when you have hundreds of thousands of people tuning into a class, the instructor can't constantly be calling out
Yeah.
names. And I know they'll do that, and people like love when they randomly get a shout out.
Right.
But there's a limit to
Right.
how that works. And interestingly enough, I've heard a lot of stats that for as many live workouts as Peloton offers, if you look at the data on the workouts that are used, it is like by far and away the pre-recorded ones that people check
they're
out
not doing
because
the
it's-
live ones.
Right, it's for convenience.
Sure.
So do you think that differentiator will allow people like us who want to continue to have this live online platform, and even myself have brick and mortar, still maintain a space for us to exist in this environment?
I think I've shifted my mindset initially when, you know, in the middle of, I would say last year, it was like there's no end in sight and it's like you're never going to go back.
Right.
I think I was like, okay, this is kind of the way it's going to go. And then, you know, as things started to change and people were going back to gyms or going back to work, it was like, okay, so many people are like, please don't leave us. Please don't leave us.
Oh, you got that
cannot-
feedback.
Yeah, you
Okay.
cannot go anywhere. And the main shift happened when some of the people who were constantly live people doing the workouts, they went back to work and they
couldn't tune in.
They couldn't tune in, so they had to shift their mindset to love doing it recorded.
Okay. How did you structurally change your programming in terms of your offering? Did they just go check it out later and you still continue to do it live every day?
Yeah, I just kept doing my thing. Consistency, keep showing up, doing it at the same time, and then everyone else is just going to have to shift to their schedule
they can go.
and what works
Yeah.
for them. And, you know, I still call out those particular names. If people are in my program, I know their names. I know something about you. And so if I know you're doing it later, I'm going to call out Sammy's name because I know later some people will log in and be like, just saying, hey, I'm going to do this after work.
Okay.
So I'll be like, Tracy, when you're doing this later, get after it. You know,
And that makes you the person feel really good because
Yeah.
they know that you paid attention to
Yeah.
their engagement in your platform.
Right. That was definitely a interesting talent to learn, is reading comments and teaching a class at the same time. As you know, it's like, oh my God. And
As it
counting
is, like
down.
multitasking with counting down.
Yeah.
And I actually love that you brought this up because when I first started doing group fitness in the boot camp setting, and it was overwhelming because I was managing stations and a lot of different exercises, and the burn workout is only 45 minutes. So you have to get through your demo in less than 90 seconds.
Yeah.
If the movements start to get too complex, it presents a problem and then the workout falls behind.
Yep.
Very classic of new trainers. I'm sure you remember this when you first started
Yeah.
coaching. You have a tendency to go over
Yep.
the class time.
Yeah.
And I had an experience where I had started shadowing, and I shadowed like every different kind of workout that Burn offered, because every day they call it the protocol, and every day is a different muscle group. They switch with different cardio types of setups, like Metcon and then burst training, whatever. When I actually took the microphone 3 times in a row, like for the first 3 times I ever coached, I had to do Tabata.
Uh-huh.
If you're not
Oh, boy.
familiar with Tabata out there, that is 20 seconds of work followed by 10 seconds of recovery. How do you coach people on form tell them how much time is left, switch the timer, and then get them moving again. Also manage your music, try to remember their names, and then keep the class on time. I was like, I wanted to die.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so stressful. I thought I was a good multitasker. Like every time they would send me like the week schedule and I saw the day that I was training, it was pure coincidence.
Yeah.
It was never like every Thursday we do Tabata. It just happened.
Right.
I panicked. I was like, this is, I literally thought I was a train wreck.
Yeah.
And nobody knew. Like I got the feedback that I held it together really well, but in my mind and like internally, I was dying.
Right.
Because it's so difficult to do that.
Well, clams who are listening are probably giggling right now because I have a tendency to go a little bit
over. Yeah.
I just, in my own personal experience, when I was training for the fitness competition, when I did see the biggest change in my physique.
Did you do bikini?
I did bikini.
Okay.
I was doing at least an hour workout. It was an hour and it was very much strength training. The cardiovascular piece was there, but it wasn't the focus.
It's very prescribed.
Yes.
And also too, I think good point is strength training. If you're doing it correctly and you're following a really specific program for any sort of bodybuilding type competition or physique, I should say.
Yeah.
It's very important that you recover for the correct amount of time. Yeah. You don't rush your sets.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into that. So it's true what they say of like the stereotype that people who train for shows spend hours at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a really specific reason for it.
Absolutely. And I do structure my weekly workouts the way I used to as far as breaking it down by muscle group.
Okay.
So Mondays are always body parts. We do everything, total body. Then Tuesdays, biceps and triceps. I believe in working the opposing muscle groups on the same day. And then Wednesdays, leg day. I used to do leg day 3 days, but that's a little aggressive.
You're like me. I love leg day. I could do it every day.
I know. Back and shoulders on Thursdays.
Okay.
Fridays is Fireball Friday, legs. And then Saturdays is kind of a core stretch cardio combination. Nice. And that way, like you said, it gives your muscles enough time to rest and recover. I always tell my clams when we're doing the workout, when you are feeling the fatigue in your muscle, that is when your muscle fibers are breaking down. They're literally like, you're taking that house that you want to reconstruct, you're breaking it down, and then you're feeding yourself good proteins like your chicken and your vegetables, AKA you're getting a contractor to come in and rebuild this house in a totally different way that you didn't have before.
Great analogy.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it helps people in their mind. Like when they're like, oh God, but that is like, think about that. It's actually your body changing right there in that moment. How cool is that? Like
so
you're
cool.
doing that. That is an awesome, powerful feeling.
Yeah, that's why you have to appreciate that discomfort.
Oh yeah. Yes, there is a lot of discomfort that we have in there, but there's growth and discomfort.
100%. So tell me more about if I were going to decide tomorrow that I wanted to join your programming.
Yeah.
What can I expect? I think I hear that you kind of have like two very distinct offerings between what you do on a daily basis and then your 30-day challenges. So tell me what those look like and what I can expect from the experience if I were to decide to sign up with you.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do the 30-day experience where it's $1 per day, what you would get from that is 8 additional workouts.
Okay.
I do
outside of what's live.
Exactly.
Okay.
So live on Instagram are free workouts. And I do that because I want everybody to have access to the Body by Trainer experience. I want anyone and everybody to have their mood boosted by tuning into a workout. And then if you wanted that extra accountability, which is the A in clams, then you sign up for a challenge and you get those additional workouts. And I play my own music. So we play like all sorts of fun hip hop and dance music. And sometimes I'll sing like Lion King, who knows? And then you also get daily challenges. So each month there's a calendar. And for example, yesterday's challenge was complete the sentence. I forgive myself for.
Nice.
And then you write it down. So it's a little bit more of a journaling type of situation. Some days I'll be like, don't have any added sugar today.
Okay.
Some days
or
I'll
hydration,
be like,
yes,
like exactly. So there's like, programs that I write into it so that it's more of a mindset and a well-being and a lifestyle challenge versus just the physical.
Huge believer in that. I find that my clients who prescribe to that portion of my programming and don't take it for being woo-woo have way better results in their weight loss.
Yeah, I've got a few clams right now that are so dedicated. It's inspiring to me. They'll send me every day a picture of, the journal that they're writing and things like that. And I just see them changing. It's very obvious, especially for a coach, as you know, to see someone who's really committed, and it's like the best gift I could ever have. So we do like 2 Zooms per month, where if you want that community focus and you're looking for that group of supportive humans, that's what you get. You have access to a private Facebook group where the clams really just share recipes. They share daily struggles. So, there's so much power in numbers. And when the whole clam community gets together to support one another, it is so powerful. It's pretty cool.
I think that's the most amazing part. You touched on two. First is like, and you said this way earlier in the episode, how you save the messages you get. Yeah. There's like no better feeling as a coach than when people reach out to you. I said this to somebody just a couple weeks ago. The day that I left my last job in a boutique fitness setting, it was the happiest but the worst day of my life.
Yeah.
It was the happiest because I have never felt so loved, like just loved by a group of people than I did on that day. And I mean, they gave me like tons of material things, like cards, coffee, food, water bottles, but like those handwritten notes. And then the people who came up to me in tears that I was leaving them just like moved me. Yeah, it really did. And I didn't, it just solidifies for you like, hey, all those times that your alarm went off at 3:42 a.m., it was worth it because it did make a difference to somebody. And it doesn't have to be a lot of people either, even if it's 5 people.
Oh my gosh. I as much as the people tell me that I've helped to change their life, they have drastically changed mine.
Yeah.
Every single message, every note I've ever received has never gone unnoticed. And I tell people I'm gonna cry all the time because the messages are so powerful.
I know.
And to have the ability to be impactful and add value to someone's life is unbelievable.
It's so rewarding. Yeah, it really is. I don't think people can like appreciate and understand that until it happens. Yeah. And there's not a lot of industries, unfortunately, where you can get paid to do that and get that feedback.
Yeah. No, my brother and sister-in-law and my whole family are insanely supportive of me, and I shout out to them for giving me the keys to be able to help others. But every now and then when I get like a really awesome note, my brother loves when I send it to him because he's like, it really he's proud of me. And that's one of the coolest things because he's my older brother and always wanted to try to be like him. And so I'll send it to him, and both of them will kind of joke because they're in, corporate America, and they're like, oh God, I just like help someone with like a mortgage today or whatever,
Exactly.
So to have the ability to be effective like that for other people's lives, if you're listening to this and you have sent me that message, or if you've sent me something like that, like this is my way of saying thank you. And, I will continue giving this gift that I feel I've been given to as many people as want to listen.
And it's super personal. Like, as much as we're joking about it and saying like, oh, it's really dry to help someone with their mortgage, like that's great. And I'm sure even you've seen such a difference with the coffee too, because it's like, you could have a partner, a retailer that you work with who's like, hey, Megan, like we're loving the coffee. We're so happy that we added it. Yeah. But that does not hit the same as someone sending you a DM that's like, I mean, I've had very personal conversations. Right. Like I had a client who I had literally no idea had disordered eating. And I worked with her for over a year. I didn't know because we never had any nutrition conversations. And she came up to me the day I left my job and she was like crying. And she was like, I just wanted to tell you that I never shared this with you because I was too uncomfortable to tell anybody, but I was dealing with some eating issues, and you completely changed my perspective of body image, and thanks to you I feel really strong. Like I wanted to just cry. And like I've had a lot of moms share with me that they had a miscarriage, and that's super personal. And I really appreciate that they trusted me to tell me that, and to then say, hey, I had a miscarriage. And when I would come in here, you would make me forget about it. Yeah. And you would remind me that it was going to be fine. And I was just saying shit that I probably felt like I read off of like some like thing, some motivational quote I saw on Instagram, like on a sticker.
You never know how it's going to hit.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and La Colombe, you know, I can change someone's day through an amazing cup of coffee.
Of course.
And I've always loved that about the company. And I love that La Colombe has supported me and Body by Trainor. And they have, you know, expressed to me that they know my value in doing these workouts. So it's really special to have a full-time job that supports my passion.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Helping people, because it would be very challenging if they, you know, maybe didn't love it so much. So the fact that I have this hour of my day, you know, I structure them either before work or I do them at lunchtime, so that hopefully people who are, you know, maybe
On
in
that
a
9 to 5 schedule can do it too.
They can do it. So, you know, in sales, you know, your schedule is like all the time. I'm sending emails at 11 p.m. or whatever. So I'm so grateful to have a full-time job that is supportive of what I'm doing, because they've expressed openly to me that what I'm doing is changing other people's lives.
That's so amazing.
And I do I intermingle them by giving away La Colombe to my clams.
And how great is that you feel supported in that capacity too, because then you're not coming to the table with this like idea of like, I have to keep my side hustle secret. Because I've totally felt that way. Yeah. In 2 corporate jobs, and they're huge companies, so I can't fault them. Right. But it was also it was interesting because it was 2 financial companies who made me report that I had those jobs for fiduciary reasons. Right. In that, like, for example, when I worked at one of the banks, there was a possibility that I could have like touched a client book that did the like some sold product, banking product to that company. So for obvious reasons, that would be a huge conflict of interest, because I was technically employed by them as well. Right. So I wasn't allowed to be affiliated. Yeah. So I get why that had to be done. Yeah. But then it became like in my case, it was a generational thing of like the whole millennial versus, you know, Gen Z and above. Baby boomer, probably more so. And people were like I had certain peers, most of the time weren't my bosses, which was very interesting. It was always like somebody who was either my peer or just like maybe 2 or 3 positions ahead of me. Yeah. Who would go to my boss and like have a problem with the fact that I was late to work because I was coaching in the morning, or left right at 5 on the dot because I was going to get stuck in Charlotte traffic and had to go teach. Right. And I was very lucky that the boss that I had at the time in both situations was like, I've worked this out with Krysta. That's none of your business, because she is getting her work done. So don't worry about it.
Well, you can't, like, everybody's watching you, you know, and you never know who you're going to upset.
And I couldn't hide it because I was doing it so publicly. And I think, like, to the point I said at the beginning of mentioning this, what were you going to do? Like, not let your other company find out about it? Yeah. It's literally all over Instagram.
Right. Exactly. No, I mean, I'm so thankful to have the support from my direct boss, from my next big boss, my next big boss, you know. So
I love that. It says a lot about their values as a company.
Yeah. No, at La Colombe, we do these Zoom thing. Well, when we do the Zooms, we do a movement with Meghan.
Nice.
And it was all their idea. And I love that they want to incorporate my passion and what I love and how I can help people with La Colombe, because we've kind of always made a joke, like, as a coffee saleswoman, I'm not, you know, curing cancer or something. So it's always important, while it is a very important and it's, you know, professional job, it's important to like keep things, you know, keep it realistic. Like, I can incorporate a fun Body by Trainor into a fun coffee sales position. You know, my job is so fun. I love selling coffee, and I love selling the best coffee. Yeah. But I'm also able to... It's so
obvious, even on your platform. Yeah. Because I feel like you've probably moved away from this just because you can't travel. But I've always loved following you to see like what city you're going to. And then you talk about like where you're putting your La Colombe, and you literally drink it in your car while you're recording videos.
I can't actually wait to when we travel again and I can go on these sales calls. Like, I will be doing these workouts from my hotel room. Yeah. And it will happen. And I'll be able to fully integrate both of these passions that I have. So I'm very grateful for it.
And I think that's a really important point for company culture, because it shows just as much as people feel special when you shout them out during the workout, even if you're giving them a hard time, it's like that like psychological like thing goes off and they're like, oh, they're paying attention to me. Yeah. It makes you feel validated. Yeah. And I think this the lack of that
Right.
with a lot of companies out there is the reason why someone like myself was like, screw that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be here.
Well, they're letting me thrive and they're letting
In
me
all
grow.
capacities of your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'm a better
You're probably a better employee
badass
for that.
coffee saleswoman
Yes.
because of it.
Yeah. So for anybody listening out there who's ever going to do any hiring, even if your company is big or small, I think that's a really important pillar of your mission and your brand and what you look for in other employees. Like, why wouldn't you want your employees to be dimensional and have other interests?
Listen, get your job done.
Yeah.
Get your shit done and allow that person to grow and express their passion. Because, you know, this is a short time we're here on earth.
It's so true.
I am trying to add value as much as I can. So I'm doing it every day the best that I can.
And I feel like you've kind of lived a lot of lives with the various careers and
God.
experiences you've had, right? Because we didn't even talk about it, but, you know, real quick, golf, where did that come from? Did you play? Because you mentioned that you danced for years and years.
Yeah.
Did you always play golf growing up? Was it something you did? I know your dad's a big golfer, right?
Yes.
We golf together.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How did you get into it?
Yeah. So mom, dad, brother all play golf.
Nice.
Like I said earlier, my brother is 4 years older than me and he's like good at everything he does. So growing up, I always was just like, you know, I want to do whatever he's doing and he's really, really good at golf. So I kind of got into it when I turned 14, when I realized that like at the time, I'm 37 right now. So at that time, there weren't really a lot of women playing golf. So I started my high school golf team. Shout out to Greater Atlanta Christian School in Atlanta, Georgia. Go Spartans. And so that was pretty cool to be like, I stood out from the rest. And
Did you start it as a freshman?
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
I was a freshman playing on the varsity soccer team and on the golf team. So that was a conflict after a while with scheduling.
Sure.
So I kind of had to pick one or the other.
Okay.
So golf was cool because I was able to like win awards like MVP, Player of the Year, things like that. It was a very cool experience. And I actually had, just because of my dance background, a lot of natural ability in golf as far as balance and rhythm and timing. So it just, I don't want to say it came easy to me, but it was something that I had a natural ability for.
Sure.
And then I went on to play at Elon University, and then I went on and played on the mini tours. I played the Symetra, it was the Futures Tour, the Suncoast Tour, the National Golf Tour. I played in some European Tour events.
Cool.
LPGA. So it just was something that kept on going, and I loved the game.
At age 14, did you expect that it would turn into what it did in the years following, or you just really liked it?
Yes, because whatever I do, I always want
to go 100%.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna like, you know, for you starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Are you going to go into it thinking, oh, I hope I get like 100 people to listen? No, you want to like go in and be the best. Right. So if I'm committing to something, I'm going to try my best to make it impactful and make it something huge, like make a splash on my life. So I, you know, don't think I thought of the exact path, but I knew it was going to turn into something. So I was actually, my first job out of college, I worked at Quail Hollow Club here in Charlotte, and I was the first female that they ever hired within the golf category.
That's so amazing. Were you pro? Did you teach lessons? What did you do?
I did. I did lessons for women and kids, but it was just a cool experience because, you know, it's an older club, so they weren't really used to having women be in the pro shop. Yeah. So when it actually happened, it was a really cool day. I'll never forget it. But golf has opened so many doors for me in my life. I've made unbelievable friendships and connections, and I've started lots of careers because of it. You know, I told you earlier, Kyle O'Brien, he and I played golf together, golf buddies, and so it has manifested itself in a lot of areas of my life that I didn't think would happen. So if you're out there and you don't play golf, pick up the golf club.
I got golf clubs this year. My dad told me for Father's Day for him, he wanted me to get them. So play. So I was like, okay. Well, so I'm not very good, but my college roommate was she's from Bermuda. Yeah. So obviously she golfs. Okay. And she played in college. Right. She's really good. She's played all over the world. Her dad's a huge golfer. She's played in Scotland and on some pretty incredible courses, but I know she would say the same exact thing. Yeah. And she's in grad school right now. She lived in London for like almost 4.5 years after college, just moved back to the US like right before COVID.
Yeah.
So very interesting timing. But she goes to school in Pittsburgh and her program is so intense.
Yeah.
She like has no time to golf. And I know she wishes she could get back into it, but it's one of those things. I was a swimmer and I feel that golf is the same way. You could of course be rusty, but it's a lifelong sport that you can always play.
Yep. You can play with all levels too.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that my mom, dad, brother, and I would play every Sunday together is a pretty special thing. Not many families can kind of say they do all the same
and you're
thing.
like in a captive place. Like there's no distractions.
Right.
You're not supposed to be on your phone really when you're out there.
Right.
That's really nice.
No, it's a special thing. I've got some of my best friends are from golf.
That's
and
awesome.
You experience such a low in golf and such a high.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so when's the last time you golfed with all the golf courses being closed for a while? Have you been able to get it back out there?
Oh yeah. In Charlotte they were open.
And you go to Florida too, right?
Yeah.
How frequently do you go?
Probably
less.
I used to go
right?
all the time. I mean, I'll do anything I can to try to get out there, but I am such a fair weather golfer now. Like if it's below 50, I'm not. No, I cannot do that. So I'll be out there a lot in the spring and summer.
There we go. We talked about golf, and your comment about you go at everything 100%. I typically ask this question to people the same way when they're on my show, if they're building something and growing something like you have. I mean, we didn't even touch on this, but where do you see this going in the next year? Like if you take what's happened in the last 12 months and then you do it again, what is the future for the clam community?
Yeah. I think just to continue to grow and continue to change the way people think about fitness and the way people show up every day in their life with a new mindset of positivity and joy and kindness. My motto in life is the golden rule, is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if I can continue to grow that message and help implement that into people's lives, I will leave this planet a happy human. If a TV show comes from it, that'd be great.
You have the personality for it. I'll tell you what.
No, I really honestly, when somebody asks me that, I don't know the actual answer. I just know that I want to continue helping people. I believe I was put on this earth to serve others through my passion for fitness and movement and dance and costumes. So just to be able to have that ability to keep doing it is a gift.
So if you ever had a show, like what do you envision it to look like? Have you thought about this?
Oh God, I can't. I mean,
you have an idea.
I mean,
in your head,
of
but you
course
don't want
I've
to spoil
thought
it.
about it. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll happen. So.
Like a reality TV? Is that what we're talking about?
I kind of a reality.
That's why I want you to say it out loud.
Yeah.
To manifest it.
Yeah, I know. TV show. Like, okay, so tomorrow, for example, the challenge that people have to do for the 30-day challenge is they have to, this is kind of sounds weird, but you light a candle.
Okay.
And when you light the candle, you say what you want out loud 5 times. So like, I want a TV show. I want or whatever it is. Or like, I want this to be the number one podcast. Whatever it is. So you say that out loud 5 times and then.
It works. I 100% believe in manifestation.
Oh my God.
It
totally.
has completely changed my life.
Yeah. And then you blow out the candle.
Okay.
And you say it one more time, and then you watch the smoke go into the universe, and that is your dream going into the universe.
Cool.
And it sounds a little cheesy, but it's really not, because it's like you're putting.
I like that. I like that a lot.
All about like universe. So
okay, well we're gonna play this back to you in 12 months, and we're gonna check,
awesome.
and we're gonna see where you're at.
Very good.
Sure. And we'll have you back on the show because I'm
wait.
excited to continue to follow your journey. And like I said at the way beginning, if you want any kind of entertainment, even if you don't like fitness, you should 100% check out this girl's Instagram because I was following you like way before you started doing this, and we were like the Instagram friends. Like I would DM you the randomest stuff, and we would always talk about things. Usually leggings.
Yeah. And coffee.
I made sure I wore my coolest leggings for you today.
I know, I love them. You look super cute today.
Thanks.
By the way.
I appreciate it. And I felt like you would like my jacket. I dressed up
She's
for
got
you.
sparkles on her jacket.
Yeah,
so.
Forever 21.
Okay.
And then I got it
You
customized.
it.
Yes, from a really cool girl in Florida who's also from Jersey.
Okay.
But it has my company logo on the back.
I love it.
And I'm not going to lie, I just wanted it because it was cool, but it has been really great advertising because I wore it in the airport in the last 2 trips I've gone on, and people stop me and they're like, where'd you get that jacket? And then they see that it's customized, so then it gives me a reason to tell them what I do.
Did it come with the tassels on it?
It did. So if you want the jacket with the tassels, hit up Forever 21.
All right.
I'm going to try to make these. Like it was expensive to do like the vinyl.
Right.
But I'm going to try to do them as a screen print and then The lips are just a patch, which is really cheap and easy to do.
Michael's craft store is like one of my favorite.
Exactly. I bet you could do this.
Places.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. Add it to your costume closet or your costume storage unit. I mean, it's not a closet.
Giant sparkly clam.
Yes, you do. You do. We could put it right on the back. Yeah. It would look great.
Can't
wait.
It.
All right. You ready for the lightning
All
round?
All right, let's go. Let's do it.
75 seconds left of your time.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, here we go. If you could only do one exercise movement for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Renegade row, stand, clean to press.
Nice. I love that you went complex. That's totally the way I work out. Everyone's always like, I'll deadlift. I'm like, come on.
Oh,
you're not going to want to deadlift every day for the rest of your life. That's boring. Like, let's make it a little fancier.
No, that one will get your heart rate up severely.
Yes, it will. It will. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. You've dabbled in a lot of group fitness studios. What's your favorite workout ever? You can't say yours. Like, I want to know, like, group fitness.
Well, Orange Theory. Shout out to OTF. Hugely, I appreciate all that they did for me. You know, when I was traveling on the road, I love the business model. I love the company. I can't say one bad thing about them. Orange Theory is something that everybody can do.
It's true.
It's, you know, you can go
super
as hard
scalable.
as you want. There's science behind it. You get your splat points. You feel good about yourself. It's an immediate gratification. I love OTF for sure.
What is your least favorite movement? Like something that you like to love to hate?
Well, I don't do a lot of crunches.
Okay.
I don't do a lot of, my core work is more functional as far as
it's built
chops.
into the complex movement,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Like chops or, you know, plank position type of exercises. I find that I can hit them more aggressively than doing a crunch. Now, I do them in my workouts because, shout out to my girl Bronca, she loves the floor series. So I put them in there because I know a lot of people like to like lay on their back and crunch. And I'm like, well, we can do so much more otherwise. But I do, you know, like I said, I try to get everybody involved. So I don't hate them. But if I had to literally take one out of my repertoire, I would not crunch another day of my life.
Okay. Who do you go to for inspiration for structuring your workouts or even just like to get you excited throughout the day? Like, is there somebody that you listen to their podcast, you read, you stalk their Instagram? Who is that for you?
So when I'm looking for Instagram workouts, I will literally go to the Explore page, and because of all of the algorithms, like, you know, you can
it's the first thing that pops up.
Yeah. So there's, I would like to say there's like one fitness person that I follow, but I find that I enjoy looking at different people because there are some people who are like more Pilates driven. And then there's the kickboxing.
Right.
So I like the dynamic of the diversity that you can have within one workout. I will love to say my friend Colleen Odegaard has a podcast, Wake Up to Your Life. And I was on it recently, and she's just
have to check out the episode.
It's awesome. Yeah. She just posts like 30-minute, you know, something, wake up to your life. Like, don't go through life on autopilot. So I really appreciate all of her messages. And she's just a really nice person. Like, she's practiced what she preaches, and the person you hear on the podcast is totally her.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
we love the authenticity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've known her for so long, which is kind of crazy. So,
who is your favorite, or like what brand is your favorite workout gear? I know you're a big Amazon girl.
I do love Amazon. I do. Well, I'm a huge Fabletics. I love Fabletics.
I remember that.
I love Bombshell.
Big into the sets.
I love Carbon. I love a set. You know, I never ever wore sets before the pandemic, but now that I have,
now you got it going on. Yeah, it's part of the look.
Oh yeah, totally. And then there's another brand called 9 to 5 Fit, and they're really, that one. It's really cool. Check it out. They've got some cool stuff.
The ones I'm wearing are Liquido. I'll hook you up with a little discount code.
I love a coupon code. Oh, Brazil.
Where they're from.
Oh, yeah. They know leggings.
They
for
do.
Sure.
Because they got the booties to support it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Very last question.
Okay.
What is your shameless plug?
There is no other this Meghan Trainor.
That is very true.
There is one this Meghan Trainor. You won't get the experience from any other personal trainer than you will from me. I will change your day if you allow me to. I just ask that you open your heart and your mind and allow me to be a part of your day, and I don't take it for granted. So I just feel that each one of us has a unique gift. Each one of us has an ability to make a difference, and I'm determined to use mine. And I'm grateful beyond belief to have this platform and this community of clams that allow me to be a part of their day and their life.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
What are your, I know, like I said, I'll put it in the show notes, but tell us what your handles are. Instagram is definitely the number one way to connect with you, right?
Yep. Body by Trainor, and it's OR at the end. My website is Body by Trainor.
Easy.
And those are really the two things you need to know. I mean, I use Facebook for the groups.
Once you're a part of the community.
Yeah, but you're not going to really find too much there. I also have the Twitter account. I should tweet more because I
feel like you'd have some funny one-liners to say too.
Because I got the Twitter before Meghan Trainor, the singer, because I am 10 years older than her, just to say. So my Twitter handle is Meghan Trainor. She's Meghan _
Do you
Trainor.
probably get a lot of, we didn't talk about this, but just to wrap it up, you need to like give us one story because you and I have DM'd about this.
Yeah.
Because you post about it from time to time.
Yeah.
The text that you get from people and they think that you're the Meghan Trainor, like the singer. Has that increased at all as you've grown your personal audience?
I don't think that has, but I'm very popular in Russia. A lot of girls in Russia love Meghan Trainor, the singer, and they're like 9 to 11 years old, and they
not even teeny boppers yet.
But what's cool about Meghan Trainor, the singer, if she's listening, she is also a really great role model to women.
She has a great message for her
She really
platform.
does. So if I have to share a name with someone, I'm very proud to do it.
That's fair.
Because all of the messages that are to her are about how that she's helped them.
Cool.
And she's changed. Her lyrics have helped people get through some really tough times.
Yeah.
So I think that is a very cool thing that we share. Besides Meghan Elizabeth Trainor. We both have that in common.
Wait, that's her middle name is your middle
Her
name?
dad is Gary Trainor and my dad's Gary Trainor.
That's insane.
I know.
That's literally insane.
Crazy.
Like, forget doppelgangers in terms of people looking alike. That's like what did they say? Like the twin flame or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget the term. That's yours. Wow.
One day she'll be super excited to meet me.
Yes. Hell yeah, she will. Well, Meghan, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to the FYX fans and telling us more about Body by Trainor. We will be sure to link everything down in the show notes so that you guys can go check her out. Please don't hesitate to do so. I promise you won't be disappointed. And we're excited to watch and see where everything lands, especially as you kind of take this on tour.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
check out different cities. We're going to have to make a play for you to come to Jersey. I'll make that happen.
Absolutely.
We'll talk about that offline.
For sure.
But for everybody who tuned in today, as always, we really are so grateful for your support on this platform. You guys know where to find me. Like Meghan, I'm always available in the DMs. Instagram is the easiest way to reach me on the multiple accounts that I now maintain. But at the Krysta Huber is my number one. And then I do have an account specifically for this show, which is the FYX.officialpod. Somebody has the FYX and they haven't used it since 2018. I'm trying to get them to transition off. We're working on it because I really want it. But for now, that's just fine.
Yeah.
If you guys enjoyed the show, so important and appreciative of reviews, comments. We will have lots of clips on social media. If you could share it with other people and spread the word on this message, just as Meghan said, the most important thing in our industry is helping people lead healthier lives. And that's not just physically, but mentally too. And I know we talked a lot about that aspect of our roles as coaches in people's worlds. Yeah. So this has been the latest episode of The FYX. Hope you guys enjoyed it and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Krysta.
Thank you.